last year and then everything you were asked to do just this past week, is there anything like, do you feel comfortable with playing any position, like any linebacker position, doing any of the positions? I know you have to cross train at all three linebacker spots and things like that. Are you comfortable doing all of that or anything?
Yeah, I think being the fourth year here at Ohio State, you get to know this defense very well, and because I'm that older veteran guy, I have the feeling that I can play every spot on the field, every position. Although I might be better at some than other, I can play every one, and I think that goes for Tuff and Barron and Justin as well, because we're those older guys and we have the ability to kind of interchange some guys. So I think that works out in our favor.
Thank you.
All righty, we'll go next to Tim May from Letterman Row. Tim.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, Pete, I commented to Coach Combs a couple of days ago that the way he was calling the defenses the other night, or the way the defenses were being called, I know a lot goes into that. It seemed almost like a pro flow, almost like an NFL approach. I mean, of you guys able to maybe keep them off guard, throw one pitch, one play, and another pitch the next. And what does it feel like this year playing in that defense? Do you feel that too? I mean, did you feel that the other night, that y'all pretty much had an answer for everything they threw at you, so to speak, for the most part?
Yeah, I feel like we had a great game plan going into Penn State, and I credit Coach Combs for that. There is kind of a pro feel to it, and I've talked to him about that, and there is. And that's just him having the knowledge that he has to give us the best look against our opponent. And I feel like we had a really good game plan going into that week, and we utilized that to the best of our ability, and it showed.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
All right, next up is Doug Lamarice, Cleveland.com. Doug.
Pete, can you just maybe take us through sort of your mental progress as a linebacker from when you got here as a young guy? You've played a lot of snaps in this defense. Now you're kind of being asked to do some different things here this season. Just what's that been like for you to get to this point where it feels like you obviously have a pretty good handle of what you're doing out there every snap?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little overwhelming at the start, but I've gotten to the point where I know so much about this defense. So mental preparation is not anything at a high as compared to it was. Now it's just about getting the game plan and going from there, just because of the knowledge I've gained from this game. And that obviously happens through reps and everything that I've had. So yeah, just because I've had so many reps and the knowledge I've learned from this game, that's obviously going to contribute.
And then I wanted to ask you about your physical progress too. A year ago when I saw you, I said your neck looked big. You are now someone in this linebacker spot. You've got to have speed, but you've got to be physical. Where do you feel like you are on that balance, right, of where you want to be size-wise and speed-wise, and what's that progress been like for you?
Yeah, so I really focused this offseason trying to get at the right weight, strength, everything like that, and I felt like I've done a great job. Now part of the being in this in-season grind is to maintain your weight, maintain your strength, which is obviously not going to happen just because all the hits you're taking on, everything like that, and just we can't lift like we used to. But you still try to. You still try to get as much rehab as possible. But your physicality throughout the season is not going to be as high as it was from the first game. But your technique is up. So there's going to be a little mix in there to make you a better player. But as far as my physical body, I feel like I'm at a good spot right now. I just need to maintain and keep my strength, keep weight up, and everything like that.
All right, we'll go next to Spencer Holbrook from Letterman Row. Spencer.
Hey, did you guys take it as a challenge this week to silence people saying that it was you guys had struggles trying to stop the quarterback run?
Yeah, that's obviously one of the issues that we've seen from our defense. So a lot of teams try to do that, and that's a tough spot. So it's very hard. It's very hard for us, and they showed it a lot. And yeah, we did take responsibility, and we thought that we played it very well past Saturday.
All All right, next up is Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Yes, Pete. Obviously, Penn State was a challenge. You're now facing a stretch of the schedule in which you're going to be prohibitive favorites. Ryan Day, Coach Day, yesterday talked about having to fight against complacency. Could you just kind of address that and how important it is for you guys to kind of keep your eye on the ball?
Yeah, so the teams that we're playing upcoming, yeah, we might be favorites, but I respect the hell out of these teams. I mean, we're talking about one of the best running backs in the Big Ten we're about to face. A quarterback is a very tough guy, really good receivers, O-line is solid. Teams that could make us it could be a dogfight at some points. And but then again, we got to stay on the right track. We got to keep going and keep coming out like we did against Penn State. We got to keep that same energy. And although it might not feel like we can have that energy with 110,000 fans in the stands, we got to have that. We got to have that feeling. We got to have that energy, and we can't be complacent with anything.
Thanks, Pete.
Yep.
All righty, we'll go next to Brendan Gulick from Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated. Brendan.
Hey, Pete. Man, this is kind of a heavy time right now. There's an awful lot going on. It was obviously a crazy summer. You know, at one point, you guys didn't know if you were going to play. All the stuff going on with COVID. Social media can be a tough place. I just feel like there's this heaviness right now in our world, and there's a ton of intensity and focus around the program. I'm just wondering, man, how do you guys try to have fun? How do you try to stay a little bit loose and a little bit lighthearted and enjoy the fact that you are playing when there are games elsewhere in the conference that have been canceled, and ways that you can, you know, look back on this eventually and say, hey, man, I really did have fun when I was a senior.
Yeah. So you talk about all this going on. I mean, it obviously is hard to try to find those little fun moments anywhere you can get them. But I like to say during the football season, everybody's always talking about you guys don't have fun. Well, if you play well, you do have fun. So as long as we keep playing well and doing our assignments, that's fun to me. And I like competing. I like winning games. I like to be on top. So that's fun to me.
Awesome. Thank you.
Then we'll go next to Patrick Murphy from 247. Patrick.
Pete, I just asked Tommy about this, but holding Penn State to 44 rushing yards or whatever it was, how big of an accomplishment was that? You know, everything else that happened that night, but how big of an accomplishment was that when you guys saw the stat sheet and saw where they ended up rushing yards wise?
Yeah, it was definitely not in their game plan to only rush for 44 yards and throw the ball as much as they did. So I think it's obviously great. Our coaches always mention stop the run, and then we'll take care of everything else. You could see it from the start of the game. They couldn't really get it going with the run game. So like come out the second half and try to throw some RPO things in there, taking some shots and just throwing the ball. But knowing that we can stop the run from a defensive perspective really eliminates that whole side of their game plan. So it's what our coaches talk about all the time. Stopping the run is a key advantage.
And you mentioned the Penn State adjustments. When you see a team come out after halftime and completely change, go away from the run for the most part, is there a sense of pride in what you've accomplished?
Yes, it is. But there's also a sense where you gotta get your shit going. You gotta figure out the new game plan. You gotta roll.
We've got time for two more questioners. We'll go with Bill Landis from The Athletic. Bill.
Hey, Pete, before the season, we talked with you about some of the different things you'd have to do playing in the box now. I'm wondering how fun it is to be the guy that kind of blitz the A-gap and blow up the running back. And I guess, like, what's your mindset when you're doing something like that?
I don't think it's really my mindset to go up and blow the running back up, although it has happened. But, yeah, it's just a different feel. I'm trying to get the hang of it. But I got a good feel now, and that's always a great feeling. But yeah, it's nice being inside the box. You have the ability to make some plays and kind of control the defense. But then again, we put people in the right spot to have the best defense we can. So a lot of versatility in there. So yeah, just going to continue to follow the game plan and keep executing as we go on.
What is the thought process, I guess, when they do get you isolated on the back like that? Obviously, you can overplay it if you try to blow them up on every single play. Is it kind of gamesmanship? You try to, set up moves throughout the game, kind of like you would if you were rushing a passer?
Yeah, so it depends on game plan. In that case, I just saw the opportunity to trample the running back, and it worked out in my favor. So if we see different mannerisms of different running backs we see coming up, then I probably won't approach it the same way. But we'll see. Don't know.
All right, and last question to Austin Ward from Leonard Monroe. Austin.
Pete, maybe it's just in my imagination. You'll know better, but it just seems like there's a different level of aggressiveness with the way maybe Coach Combs is calling it and everybody else. Like, how different does that feel compared to where you guys were 2 years ago, and it just seemed like kind of static, and you did one thing and tried to do it really well?
Yeah, when you have a bunch of talent and knowledge as far as the defense, you have the ability to do those certain things. And Coach Combs sees that in us. He knows that we all have a great sense of the game. So he's going to hold us at the standard where he can take some risks. He can call certain calls and mix it up to make it hard on the offense. And I think we've done a great job with responding to his playing calling and all the calls in our playbook. But yeah, we're just going to have to continue to execute and follow his plan.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
All right, Pete, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
We'll have